So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to remove files from a folder using Python, and at the end of this video you will have a module of Python that you will be able to use and reuse as you see fit. So we're going to be using Visual Studio Code, which is the one that I have open right now. We have a remove file.py created. So here's where we're going to create our code. Right now I'm going to create another file, which is the one we're going to delete first. So I'm creating a txt file. It's empty right now, but it exists and it will help us, demonstrate the use case of this little program. So first we're going to use a library called os. So we're going to import os. Okay, make sure you have it installed. So in order for you to remove a file, it's very simple, very straightforward with os. So I'm going to do os.remove, and then it receives a file name. So I'm going to give it our file name, which is delete.txt. I'm going to save it with Ctrl S. I'm going to try it out. Oh, looks like I had one extra dot there. We'll try it again. Awesome. So as you can see, the file has been deleted. This is a very straightforward option to delete a file. Okay, still we need to add some logic, because if I run it again, it's gonna error out, and basically because it is trying to delete a file that doesn't exist right now. So in order to prevent this from happening, we're gonna create a little if statement where we're gonna ask if os.path.exists, okay, and we're gonna give it the same file name that we had. I'm gonna move this to the right. Okay, I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna clear the output and try it out. Okay, as you can see, it didn't error out. So it basically checked for the file to see if it exists. If it does, then it's going to remove it. So I'm going to recreate the file again just one more time for testing purposes. So delete.txt. Here's our txt file, and we're going to run it. So as you can see, file has been deleted one more time. Okay. So this works, but we can make it look a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna create, instead of repeating ourselves here and here, we're gonna create a variable. So I'm gonna call it dir, and then we're gonna copy our path, and we're gonna replace what we had here for our dir variable. So it's pretty much the same, it just looks a little bit nicer. So I'm gonna save it again, Ctrl S. I'm gonna clear my output and try it one more time. Successful, awesome. Okay. So this works if our file is in the same folder where our Python file lives, but it doesn't work if it is in a different location. So if it is in a different location, we need to give it the full path. So I already have some files here ready that I want to delete from my computer. So this one is the first hotel. So I'm gonna click on it. I'm gonna do shift right click, and there is an option that is gonna show up that it says copy as path. So I'm gonna click on it. I'm gonna go back to my code. Then I'm gonna replace it. I'm gonna replace this for my full path. So you can see it brought the full path, even the extension. So this is what we want. Okay. So if I run it right now, and I have the file here, it's actually gonna error out. So I'm gonna try so you guys can see it. Okay, so it error out, and basically what happened is that Python doesn't like you to use slashes like this in paths. So you actually have two options here. You can add a R to the beginning of your directory. So just like that, save it. Clear my output, and I run it, and you can see the file was deleted. Okay, that's option number one. Option number two will be to basically add another slash for each one of the slashes that you already have on your program. You can also do a Control F and then do a replace. You replace, a single one for a double one, and then you do replace all. So those are the options that you have. Just make sure that you choose one of them when doing your code. Okay. So as you can see, it already worked. The file has been deleted. Awesome. Okay. Now we're gonna make it a little more professional by making a function out of this. So I'm gonna do a function called remove file. Okay, and then I'm gonna send all of this to the right. Okay, so just like that, we have made a function remove file, which checks if the file exists and then removes it. Okay, so I'm gonna call it right here, remove file. Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna keep calling it. I'm gonna run it one more time. So it works. So every time you make changes in your code is a good practice that you keep on trying and testing, making sure that changes you have made are not impacting the code. Okay. So another thing that we can do is we have this directory in here inside of our function, which means that every time we run this, it's gonna delete the same file. What we can do is actually take it out. So I'm gonna Control C and bring it outside. Control B. I'm gonna delete it from here, and I'm gonna add it as a parameter for our program. So right now, here we're defining it as this hotel.pdf file, but if we want to change it, we can just change it outside, and our remove file will keep deleting, whatever file we provide. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna replace that hotel file one more time, just for testing, and we are gonna run it. Okay. So it says that is missing one positioner argument. Oh, so we didn't send it here. Okay, so I'm gonna clear my output. I'm gonna try it one more time. Okay, as you can see, code ended with 0, which means it was successful and the file is not here anymore. Okay, so we can add a little bit more of logic into this. So we already have the remove. We're checking if the file exists. We move our file path to a variable, and so what else we can do? We could, if we want to remove all of the files from a folder, we could do that as well. So we're gonna create another function. We're gonna call it def get files from folder. Okay, I'm gonna give it a folder path. Oops. Okay, folder path. I want to choose the folder where I have my files to be deleted. Okay, I'm gonna save it. So basically, I want to get, I want to loop through all of the files in this folder, so I can send them for deletion. Okay, so I'm gonna do that by using the OS library again. So let's see what we can do. So first we have to check as well if that folder path exists. So let's do the same as we did up there. So we're gonna check for os.path. Oops. os.path.exists. Okay, and we're gonna check for folder path. Okay, so if that path exists, then we can loop through it. So we're gonna loop using a for. So we're gonna do for files, and then we're gonna use os list directory, and we're gonna provide it our folder path. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna do a print so you guys can see what shows. So it's basically going to show the file name and the extension, but not the full file. Okay, so I'm gonna call my function over here. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of these two. And right now I'm just calling the get files from folder function, which is going to print out the files. Oh, again, so we're gonna replace here the single slashes with double slashes. So you can do this by selecting the string, do Control F, and then on top you do one single slash and bottom two slashes, and then you come here and do replace all. That will replace everything on the string, or again you can put an R to the beginning. So I'm gonna run it one more time. Okay, as you can see, it's printing the files that we have. So we have my post, we have PDF, PDF, PDF. Okay. So that works, but it's not, you know, what we're looking for. We're looking for the full path so we can send it to the remove file. So what we're gonna do is, let's see, we'll create the full path directory. Oh, looks like we made a mistake in here, so I'm gonna remove this. Okay, so I'm gonna call it, create a variable. I'm gonna call it file path. So this file path is gonna be the combination of our full path with our file path. So for this we can use the os.path.join function, where we can pass the folder path, comma, and the files. Okay, so that should put together the file path. I'm gonna do a print. And I'm gonna print our file path. So I'm gonna put the output, and I'm gonna run it one more time. So as you can see, we have 4 files on that folder. Oh, let me go back. So we have 4 files in that folder. They're all showing up. So everything we need to do now is call our remove file function in here. So we're gonna do remove file. We're gonna pass it. We're gonna pass our file path in here. We're gonna save it. Clear the output for you guys to see it. And it runs. So if I go back to my folder, everything was deleted from this really nice code here that you can reuse. Now we can actually, you know, improve a little bit on the quality of this code that we have. So it's functional, as you can see, and we tested. But let's go ahead and make it look a little bit nicer for you guys to use it. I'm gonna create a main function. Our main function is gonna be the one calling the others in this case. So I'm gonna take the folder path. I'm gonna put it on the main folder. I'll get folder path and put it as an argument. I'm gonna save it. Okay, so our main is gonna be in charge of calling our get files from folder function, and we're gonna pass the folder path. So down here, instead of calling the get file, we're gonna call our main function. So I'm gonna replace the files I had in here. Do this. Okay, and we're gonna try it one more time. Ended successfully. If I check my folder again, they are deleted. So again, it looks really nice, but we can do better. So actually, it is a good practice that instead of you having the main like this, that you declare an if bottom so people know and Python know that this is a script. So we're gonna do if, oh, come on, oh, there you are. So if name underscore underscore equals and again underscore underscore main. Okay, we're gonna call our main function. So this is a good practice and you should have it on every single code that you have. So instead of calling single functions, you have this little part here, block of code that is in charge of calling, whatever you need to call. Okay, so again, I'm gonna run it so you guys can see it works, and it works. Nothing to be deleted right now, but it works. Okay, and we could actually do a little bit better if we want this to be a true module that you can share with others and people can use it. You can reuse it in your projects. So let's do this. So I'm gonna take this from outside our main. I'm gonna put it outside. I'm gonna have the main receive a folder path also on the bottom. Okay, that way we can provide whatever folder path that we need, and this main function will be in charge of deleting all of the files in there if they exist and if that specific path exists. Another thing that we can do, which is a good practice, not many people do it, but you can actually state the type of variable that your method is using. So in this case, on this remove file directory, so I know because I have been using it, I created this code, that this dir parameter is actually a string, what I'm expecting. So what I can do is I can do this str. So I'm declaring that I'm helping people to know when they look at my code that this directory or this dir parameter that I have here should be in a string, and they should be sending in a string. Okay, so I can do the same here, but I'm gonna show you the difference. Another thing that we can do that will help people a lot is adding doc strings. So doc strings are, I'm gonna show you how to do them. So you do this. Okay, and I'm gonna do this method. This method is used to delete a single file if it exists. So this docstring is different from a regular comment, and the way it's used is that now if you actually highlight over the method, you can see that the statement that I put there is now here on the bottom. This method is used to delete a single file if it exists. So it is helping other programmers to know what my method does, and also on top, it's helping them know that they should be sending a dir parameter that is type string. In opposed that if I go here to our other function, it's completely empty. It doesn't have any indication of what it does other than the name, and you can see that folder path is showing as any, which means that I could send whatever type of variable that I have, that it will receive it. Of course it will fail, but it will receive it. So this is a good practice that you can do and start implementing on your codes, so people can get better, or you can actually do a better quality product these days. So I'm gonna copy this docstring, I'm gonna put it in here again. Oh, it might have. Okay, so this method is used to delete the files in a folder. Okay, I'm gonna do .str. Okay, so again, this parameter type, Python doesn't need it, but it's a good practice to add it so other people, can use it. And that's pretty much it. We're gonna take it for a final run. So I'm gonna copy my files in the delete, and I'm gonna run it. Okay, ended successfully. Um, Folder is clear. This is a really nice, straightforward module that you can add to your projects. You can start using it for automation purposes. So yeah, there you go. If you have any other idea or you have questions related to this that we did today, just let me know in the comments. Thank you.